I would like to start this talk with Lily. Lily is 6 years old, and Lily just joined the first grade school. And at some point, sooner or later, the teacher will ask, "So what does your daddy do?" I'm like, "Oh man, this is for Lily. In this presentation, we'll explore what we do, and hopefully she'll use it with her teacher after that." Hello, my name is Zdenek Soukup. I work as a PO.
And hello, my name is Petr Kasparik, and I work in Vysoft as PO as well as Zdenek.
Except none of us are true PO. We work as kind of area product owners, except we have no areas because we have never adapted less huge. We work in 100-ish member team of teams, and within the group of small, well, we'll explain that. In this 100-ish team of teams, we work without managers, and we do less, and we do managerless. And we're here to tell you about that.
So, about agenda, yeah? So, we would like to give you a bite, what we do, and mainly how we do it. So, first I will start with a few words about two guys from Brno, from Czech Republic, students who wanted to change the world. Then I will continue with the, let's say, crazy idea of managerless organization. And then Z will take over the stage, and he will finally share our journey, how we work, and what are the practices which we are using. And on the end, just to be sure that we share our story, we would like to show you live demo how we handle the requests and how we work in Vysoft. So, about two students from Brno. The name of these students is Václav Muchna and Martin Martini. And it was year 2000. And it was just typical students of university, but they hated the printing. So, and they were quite ambitious, so they decided to change that print industry. They co-founded Vysoft. We have a headquarter in Brno. We operate from Brno, but we have offices around the world, and we have many employees. And what we do, so as I said, these two guys wanted to change the print industry. They really hated the direct printing, and they wanted to simplify the printing, and they wanted to add additional value for the customers. So they invented SafeQ, and SafeQ is software, print management, and during the time they developed their own hardware because they wanted to be independent on the other vendors, and they offered this solution to our business partners. So these business partners bundle our software, our hardware with their printers and selling to our customers. And what you can imagine if I say SafeQ. So everything is happening when you press the print button on your computer or on your cell phone. So SafeQ word is when you press the print button. And who we make happy? First, I would start with some IT administrator in the company. He wants to focus on their job. He doesn't want to spend the time with preparing drivers, updating the computers, preparing the print queues, and with our solution, it's much easier. Then we have a CFO who cares about the money, so he needs to understand where the money goes. Then I would continue with HR personnel. She wants to usually keep the bonuses secret, so if she sends something to the printer, she wants to wait, or she doesn't want to print the papers before she's in front of the printer. So we make sure that she's printing when she's standing in front of the printer. And Joey, before Joey, we have CIO, who is the one who wants to keep the print secret. He cares about security, he cares about encryption, and our solution makes sure that the print job is secret and we do not lose the data. And lastly, we have Joey, who is a typical employee who loves things like scan to email from the printer or scan to OneDrive, or he just loves the things like print from anywhere, anytime. So that, for example, he can release the print in Europe. He can send the print job in Europe. Then he can travel around the world and pick up the print on the printer in the United States. So this was quickly about our company, about our product. But before me move, do you know SafeQ or Vysoft? Michal? So few people, great. Okay, great. So now it's time to look at our LeSS transformation, and Zdenek will continue.
All right, keep going. You know what we do, so now let's take a look and more into the context. It wasn't always pretty. It was really complicated, really bad in the beginning, and our journey starts in a few years back. There is a talk about it. I'm not going to really discuss it. You can find it online on the conference website and watch it. The bottom line, we're in it for a few years. There was Flip 1, which got us into feature teams and no more dedicated architects and just the regular feature team. And there was LeSS 2, which was get rid of all the managers. And the Flip 2 is kind of interesting because if you notice the date, 2021, May, that's when everybody was under lockdown, so we were all learning those online tools, and it all happened remotely. For which there is another talk, and we got one more, so you can find a lot of content about Vysoft. I'm not going to cover any of that. I'm actually getting to where we are today. Today, 7 team members in each team. We have 13 teams, and they all individuals report directly to the CEO. Same with the product owner group. Please don't get hung up on community group, team. Just I use them interchangeably in this context. The guy up front, that's our true PO, Martin De Martini, the co-founder of the company, member of the board of directors. The 2 guys behind the 2 sidekicks, that's us. We are kind of putting together this whole thing. And we'll get there how we work, but first let's explore a little more into the manager-less thing, because really, there are no team leads, no proxy POs, no team managers, not even scrum masters in this whole organization. And for that, I'll pass back to Petr, and he'll get you through this.
Okay, thanks, Nick. So, did you hear or do you know any company who has a manager-less organization without any managers? Great, great. You know us. Okay, so I tried to find some in Czech Republic, but I didn't, so maybe you can share if there is any. Okay, but let's look at the traditional organization, right? So you know this. The team has their team leads, people managers, some engineering managers, R&D managers. Yeah, it works, usually, even in COVID, but we are struggling with some things. We wanted to improve our performance, and we wanted to change something, and we decided to do a huge change. Usually, the engineers are complaining about the managers. Yeah? If you ask why you didn't deliver, oh, manager told us different story, he didn't connect us with the customer, he don't know what to do. And yeah, we said, okay, it's interesting, but we have our CEO, Václav, he's owner of the company, and he said, okay, I'm an engineer as well, and I hate the managers as well. So he came in the COVID time, and he said, hey guys, I think that they are right. We should reduce the managers. In 2000, just before the COVID hit us, and everybody was like, oh, really? He's joking. But he was not, And in some time, we really reduced the managers' layers. And yeah, so it was quite ambitious, but he really explained this well, and we all understood that in case we succeed with this, we will be much better than we were before. But we had to overcome some challenges. If you don't have this guy, the manager, who is talking about something, knowing about that, uh, you, uh, you need to replace some responsibilities. And one from the biggest fear of the people was how we will be promoted. And we thought about that, and we said, okay, we implemented less. We have independent team. So why some manager should promote the engineers? Why the teams cannot promote the people? So we said, okay, guys, if you want to be promoted, or if some of you want to be promoted, you have to ask for that. You have to justify why you want to be promoted. So first step, if someone wants to be promoted in the team, he has to ask for that. He has to say, hey, I'm senior engineer and I want to get more money. Sure, but ask your colleagues if you can get more money and if you are senior engineers. So he's collecting the feedback from the peers engineers, from the team. But not only from his own team, but from the teams from other locations, just to get the correct feedback. As soon as he collects this feedback, he has his own justification. He needs to come to the promotion committee. And what's the promotion committee? We do not want to replace managers, right? So the promotion committee is not some manager who is approving or declining this thing. Promotion committee is a group of people who are reviewing the process. So if the engineer collects the feedback, then he provides his own evaluation. The promotion committee is a group of the people from engineering, from HR, from other locations, who are evaluating that this feedback which he gets is proper. And if yes, the engineer can be promoted. Of course, sometimes it's not correct, so he has to ask again for the feedback, or he has to improve. But he can get back with the promotion. So, for example, in 2 or 3 months, he can ask again for the promotion. The second challenge is hiring. If you don't have a managers, you have to think, how are you going to hire people who are going to initiate the process? Because usually people managers say, hey, we need more people, we need to improve our performance, so let's hire somebody. In our situation, the teams are evaluating the needs for the hiring the new people. Of course, VPOs, we can come with the idea, hey guys, we want to work on the new technology. But the team needs to say, hey, of course, but we don't have people who has this knowledge. And in that case, they can initiate the process, they can ask HR for help, they share the position, HR help with pre-screening of the candidate, but on the end, the team is the group of the people who are selecting their colleagues. So then they cannot complain, this engineer doesn't fit in our culture, this engineer doesn't fit with their knowledge. So the team is the group of the people who are selecting their candidates. And the third challenge, it's more challenges, of course, but I chose this, is the development of the engineers and self-development. How to start? Okay, so if you have engineers, they usually get the support. They are getting the feedback, but there is somebody, again, usually the people manager, who is giving his advice, improve in this, improve in this. But in our case, we don't have managers, right? So how to ask? And for that, we have team feedback. It's regular feedback, which team is giving to other engineers, and he can get really precise feedback what to do better. Because who knows better than your colleagues what you do? Manager who manage 5 teams, he don't know what the teams and team members knows you. So you can get 2 types of feedback. You can improve your soft skills or hard skills. For soft skills, we usually have help from our coaches, HR coaches. They are helping to improve their soft skills. For hard skills, we have a community of practices. There are skilled people, very technical people, who could help or who can help with grow in his technical skills. So good experience. We have a lot of people who are willing to help. It's for them some kind of training how to teach the people. So it really works, and the people are giving the support from other engineers. But there are not only challenges, there are the advantages. And one from the biggest advantage is the business-oriented R&D. I read a lot of articles about business-oriented R&D, but I was always like, how you want to do the business-oriented R&D if the engineers are not talking to customers, but they are talking to the managers? And managers are trying to translate what to do, what the customers want. But it's yesterday I heard about ChatGPT that you can shorter the article and then you can ask to do it longer, So that's like with the managers. They are trying to shorter the request and they are trying to explain it again. So it doesn't work. And I see our time is red, so I have to speed up. So it doesn't work. And we said, okay, let's skip these managers, and let's connect the customers with our engineers. And if you connect the customers with the engineers, customer is happy, because believe me or not, they are much more talking or much liker talking to engineers than to the managers. And the engineers will validate the scope regularly. So they are not going to this creepy car, but they are going to deliver this Ferrari, what customer wants. Okay, related to that, and its second big benefit is motivated customer, not customer, motivated employees. That's something what is very important for us and which discovered immediately when we did this change. Because people like to see their work to be used, especially engineers. And sometimes it took a really long time before the work or feature which was delivered was released. Now, the engineers can see really quickly their work implemented on the production and feedback from the customer. And if they are really regularly speaking with the customer, they can get the feedback, and they are much more motivated than in case the manager would ask for something. So usually customers say, hey guys, this is exactly what I wanted, and they are, wow, that's great, we delivered something what the people really use. So this is about motivation. And the third, it's about agility on the IT market. Some time ago, I was asked, Peter, please deliver 2 years roadmap. And I was like, oh, why? It doesn't make sense. So I tried. Of course, we failed because after 3 months, it was nonsense. And that's exactly what is important here, because the IT market is changing every day. If you ask customer what he wants, and if you ask him 1 week later, he wants something else. Yeah? But in this case, if you have the customers connected with our engineers, they can validate their work even within the sprint. So sometimes happen that we have refined some functionality, but on the end of the sprint, it's a little bit different because customers saw some increment, and he decided to do it a little bit different. So with this setup, we are able to, we are much more flexible, and we are able to deliver much faster to the customers what he wants. And that was from my side, and I had to speed up because time is running. And now Zdenek will tell you more about how we work.
Okay. This is the core of the presentation that's going to happen right now. And the main information or the main benefit that we see in us talking to the group here is that we're actual practitioners who do this, which means 13 times 7, anyone? 13 times 7 people in R&D as engineers, almost 100, and just 3 kind of coordination force that helps to move the ship in the right direction. And that's the main benefit. Before we get there, one last segue, that's terminology, Epic. Epic is a customer problem that we solve, right? For example, we have the printers, copiers, printers, and you are a customer. Oh no, people started buying things, so you end up with a pile of invoices. So you put them on top of the printer, which is now copier, it has a scanner, and you want it processed automatically. Scan it into some cloud repository, stored in the right way, think OneDrive or some ERP system, like that. That's an epic. And the PBI, of course, is an increment that's delivered within one sprint. One sprint is 2 weeks in our case. And it has to be something useful. For example, scan into a PDF, which is stored into a root of the repository, one-sided only. So something that's useful, something that can be demonstrated. And what I have here is a few things that I believe are really important for us to coordinate on this level. The one, obviously, everything has to be transparent. So we heavily use Miro. I assume that everybody here heard about it, online tool, whiteboarding, super cool for our case. There is one master board that has all the information. And the purpose is really that everybody within Ysoft can see what we're working at and what we're planning to work at. Sprints start with refinements, so I'll quickly discuss this one. Refinements, multi-team refinements are also happening online. We're not meeting in one location because our teams are in multiple places. Some of our teams are actually even virtual. And we use this to synchronize. So always, every Wednesday, we have a board where everybody can look, hey, what's being refined? And am I being asked to join this refinement? When I go to a little more detail, my name shows up, I'll be there. And everybody within R&D and most of people at Ysoft know that at this time they might be pulled into the refinement, and we of course call in customers. And those that are coming often also have this in their calendar. So a pretty cool little detail to have a fixed times for those. Of course, anybody can refine at any time. This is when we want to have more people in there. Tiny detail, it's driven by teams. We call them driving teams. They are effectively what LeSS says as leading teams. And they're the ones who records the acceptance criteria after the refinement, which gets me to exactly this. Driving team, leading team, same thing in our terminology. They really drive the epic, so the whole customer problem, all the way to the end. It doesn't mean they do it themselves, they coordinate, right? But every single epic at Ysoft has their own driving team assigned, even though it might be epic for only one sprint. This is always driven by the team. And because we do it for so many years, our teams have really developed very deep business understanding. So when they are faced with a customer and the customer comes up with a new requirement, they are, in most cases, really able to decide, hey, this is a scope creep, so we don't do this, or, oh yeah, that wouldn't be useful without this. Whenever they are not sure, they go to us, to our group, but really often it's not needed. That's why it scales. Top of the backlog. What's at the top of the backlog? The most important customer requirement, yeah, you know it's a trap, we are improving. So anyone within R&D, any team, can put an item to the top of the backlog. Hey, this is important, so we all improve as an organization. The very specific thing that happened after that. This is running for a few months, so the results are questionable maybe. The very specific benefit, very explicit output today is no more bitching about things like, oh, this pipeline doesn't do it fast enough and we have to wait too long, and like, and it really should be faster, and like, and well, yeah, it's maybe not that big problem after all. So the things that are really painful show up there, and the only rule is whoever puts it there have to take it, and take it into the sprint and actually do it. Because this is a proper presentation, we told you what we're gonna tell you. Now we told you, and now we'll tell you what we told you. So first one, we use Miro because it's fun and really helps us to collaborate on large scale, because everybody knows where to find up-to-date information. We do have Jira in the background doing some calculations for us and stuff, but the source of truth became our Miro board, really. Second one, refine on Wednesdays, right? Third one, the teams do drive refinement, so the delegation is there. And the fourth one, we also delegate improvements, driven by teams. If it's painful enough, they'll pick up and they'll fix it. Those were the easy ones. Those, so far, I think where anybody can adapt it, and I think can see benefits fairly quickly. And yeah, really try it, let us know. We have contact information. I'd be curious if it works elsewhere. Those that I have here, 3 more, are a little more complicated, and it took time to adapt and start seeing benefits. The first one, teams pick their work. It's voluntarily, is volunteering, really, 100%. And the way how we do it, this is again from the Miro board, from the large one, and they can see on the left, this is our long-term roadmap, right? A possible product future. And right here is our product backlog of epics, not PBIs, which maybe we can discuss later, but goes top down. Roughly here is work in progress, less than number of teams, and down here is the plausible product future. And the teams go, and they can sign up as driving team, or as a team that wants to cooperate. So they come here on the roadmap and they see, hey, we just got some cool knowledge in scanning because we're implementing that connector that we discussed. So we'll focus on scanning for 5 more months. It looks like there is a lot of work. More connectors are coming and more scanning destinations. So they will sign up, and because they know ahead, they can even hire the right people. They can start learning. They can start essentially preparing the work. That's how we sort of supplement the areas, because they can plan their work ahead. Reviews are fun, and they were not always fun. In the beginning, like 3 years ago maybe, really after the flip, we started with, so I just coded this at the review, and here is a test results to prove that it is valuable. And that was the review, and it was bad. What we got through a lot of hoops and loops and experiments all the way to where today, when they actually do the scanning, which I said, so the increment is I scan a file from a printer, copier, into a destination. They will show it. They have a phone on the meeting. It's online. Everything is online. They have a phone. They show it. They put the paper there, close it, press the button, go to their laptop and show, see, delivered. It's the same paper, proven. And because they're able to do that, we can invite people who don't understand the code, and they can actually give some feedback, and we can change things based on that feedback. And it works really well. This is our reviews. We got a short session in the beginning for like operations, and then all 13 teams present within 1 session, every sprint, to all the other 13 teams and anyone internal at Ysoft. And we try to invite customers, and it didn't work because it was too small increments, and it dragged for too long. So we didn't have the good results on inviting actual customers and partners. So introduced, and this is what I'm going to mention actually. That's we call it the last call stage, the last call review. What it means, we release every month. So whatever is finished and goes out within that month, perhaps was behind feature flag before, or maybe just whatever goes out, we put on that stage. The team would introduce it to customers, partners, right? 56, that's August, where everybody was on vacation. We get about double the number. And the message to the customers is, hey, this is your last chance for us to really change it so it fits your need. We refine it, we review it regularly before, of course, but this is for all the others that haven't seen it yet. And the cool thing is the feedback that we get, we immediately tell, yeah, we'll do it, or no, sorry. So they come out of it with, oh, so my feedback was valuable and it will come out next sprint, or perhaps even right now when the only feedback is, hey, change the word authenticate to word login because it makes more sense in my region. Oh, yeah, that's easy. We do it right away. And sometimes maybe small improvements. It's really cool and it's working so far. Again, experiment for a few months, but seems to be working for us. I got one last. Predictability, this is the most complicated one. So let's dive into it. They say start with why it keeps changing, so I'll start with what. And that is every sprint planning, we agree with the team what they will show at the sprint review. They explicitly write it, and we explicitly confirm it. Or we put a requirement there and they confirm it. Like we mutually agree at the planning what will be delivered. Those PBIs are estimated by them, they are refined by them, and we keep them accountable. So at the end of the sprint, we take a look, hey, did you deliver? Did you deliver what you promised? That's pretty much our predictability. Sprint to sprint predictability. That's what we're asking our teams. And if they don't see, oh no, THT failed this sprint, probably something happened like didn't refine right, maybe they had to jump on something and fix it. It doesn't matter. For some reason they didn't deliver. So we look at it long term. Oh yeah, we don't care. Just like fail here and there is totally okay. We say above 70%. I should mention that there are absolutely no bonuses on this. There's no money in it. It's just a number that we're watching. And by we, I mean R&D. The teams watch this number, and now I'm getting to the why, to reflect on teams' performance. In the invitation for this talk, we said 15 teams. Now I'm talking 13. The 2 teams disappeared based on this. They got disbanded and moved to other teams because together they couldn't find the right chemistry and they couldn't work. Few people left and they just moved to other teams. And for us, it's exceptionally good indicator of team performance, of team health, proxy, KPI or proxy metric. Why it's complicated? It's because well, whatever you measure people on, they don't like it. So yeah, here and there something happens, they have to jump on it, they lose the predictability, they hate it. Often it's not heard that we're only asking for 70%, and everybody assumes it's 100. We cannot do 100, yeah, sure, we cannot do 100, of course. We want people to take risks. Has to be understood, has to be carefully explained. Can kill throughput. You could think that people will be very defensive, taking small items into the sprint and be bored for the rest of the sprint. I don't believe it. People are actually working for Ysoft because they want to work for Ysoft, right? We don't mandate it to anyone. So they want to do the good job. Goes against quality, yes, because when you're under time pressure and you are really marked in front of the whole R&D, in front of your peers as your team didn't deliver, so you either just don't do the testing and just merge it, we'll see, And that way you deliver, you're good, but it could really decrease the quality. There has to be a lot of countermeasures on that. So you have to have some gateways and stuff like this. Which gets me again to tell you what I told you. Number one, team members are adults and they really can decide what they're going to do as long as we follow the right priorities. The review is there to make sure that we change something based on the review. If we don't change our priorities based on the review, we change the review. That's how we got into this. And well, we don't have any proxies. They, of course, do it, and be careful about predictability. And the last thing that we have here for you, just to show you a live demo. And we'll, of course, speed it up and get you through our sprint.
So, enough theory. Let's look how we really practically handle the requirements. So, where to start? I'm PO, and it's quite often happen that I get a requirement. Hey, we have a customer, we need implemented this new functionality. And if this happen, I have to discuss this with Zdenek, and with Voodoo, our true PO. And the last call is up to him. So, but sometimes he decides, like, hey, that's important customer, let's implement it immediately. On the other hand, we have a roadmap, so this is not so often. We have quite stable roadmap for few sprints, and usually if we get this request, we just put it on the roadmap and we wait for some team who has a time. But in this case, to speed up, it's really important. So we want teams to start to work on that. And the best way how to do that is to ask directly the teams in the teams. Yeah? So as a PO, I'm responsible to prepare the epic, slightly describe how I understand that, but it's not always true what I understood. So I just prepare the epic, I put the request in Teams, and I'm waiting for the teams to respond. And the request is like, hey guys, we have a customer who asked us for new scanning functionality, and we are looking for a driving team who already have experience and who could take it and drive it. And yeah, we usually get some response, hey, Phoenix team, we are finishing right now our epic, and we can take it, whatever, we already work on that, so we have the knowledge. So if this happened, that's great, and my responsibility is to share the information with the teams, or with the driving team. And what is most important, I'm not sharing the information or the scope, how I understand that, but I'm sharing some basic information and contact to the customer. So then it's responsibility of the teams to join with the customer and get clear information from him. But before he do it, they need to plan this work somehow. And for this, we have a refinement session on Wednesday. And I think Z can show you how the team is handling this request and how they prepare the refinements.
Yep, let's look at it. Wednesday, next week. So looks like there is nothing scheduled yet. So we get there. 2 p.m. That seems like a good slot, and come on. We really want to get people in. It will be driven by us because I'm now a Phoenix team member. So put it there. Our teams have logos, of course. They have names and everything. Come on, don't screw their name. That wouldn't be good.
Phoenix.
I indicate who I want here, right? Just put it like this, and when there is Wednesday coming, I maybe check with the people. But when is Wednesday coming, I just will refine it. We'll look at it and discuss what needs to be discussed.
Exactly. So it's Wednesday. The team invite other teams to refine that epic. We are not going to show it how the refinement works because you know it. But what is important is that on the end of the refinement, there needs to be PBIs, which can be taken into the sprint. Everybody who is going to work on that understand the customer requirements. The acceptance criteria are set, and the epic is ready to be taken. But it's new epic, and I already shared that we have some planning board where we are prioritizing the things. So it's missing here, right? So Z, what we have to do to put this epic there?
Yeah, so everybody sees that this is a priority number 2. We put it here. We have Phoenix. This is their logo. So everybody knows who to contact if they have information, and very transparently share to the rest of the company that next planning, this will be the top priority.
Good. So the epic is refined. The priority is set on the planning board or product backlog. And yeah, sprint is starting and the team can plan their work.
Ready for planning. So during planning, me as a team member, we move stickies, right? So yeah. So come here, move my PBI as a, well, let me zoom. I will zoom in so you can see it. I move those and I indicate that we agreed with THT, a second team that will help us on this, and we indicate to the PO team, hey, this is what we're going to deliver, and Petr is like, oh, okay, that sounds like exactly what we agreed will be delivered and what will make them happy. Indicate it like this, and this is where we have focused on the product and got one more sticky to move, and that's here. That's our, it's not technically a sprint backlog, I know, but we call it that way. And I do the same thing, put it to my Phoenix and say, this is what we deliver this sprint. We say, because we have a few people on vacation, so we're not that confident, but 75 is typically okay. And we, during the planning, all 13 teams do this during planning, so we indicate that we're ready for next step. And then the PO shows up and, well, hey, this is really important, so 75 is a no-go, and oh, okay, so anyone can help us, and yeah, we agree that, hey, ants can jump on it and can really help us with this, which would increase our confidence to, like 87. And that's probably okay for us to, have that confidence of this being delivered, and of course we talk. So throughout the sprint, we can move things around, but this is what they're committing to deliver.
Yeah, I would just add that the main purpose of that is to align POs with the teams, what will be delivered, and agreed on that. Because like 3 years ago when we started, it was like, oh, I thought that you will deliver this, and they thought that it should be this, and we just had the same epic but different understanding. Okay, so the planning is done. The teams know what to do. There are some mechanisms, what they do after the planning, but I'm not going to talk about that because it's not so important. But what is important is that on the end of the sprint, and in this case, let's imagine that there were just 2 PBIs which were supposed to be delivered. Epic will be delivered as a whole. And they talk about the 2 stages, but in this case, we want to invite the customer. But not the customer who they talk already. The customer, they are, during the sprint, in contact with the customer, and they are validating the work. But they want to invite other customers which will be use the functionality, because this is their last call and opportunity to tell that they would expect something different. Yeah. So they just put this topic on the agenda, they invite the customers, and as Zdenek shared, it's a real live demo. Yeah? For this, in this case, for example, they would stay in front of the printer, they would scan the paper, they would open the browser and show that the print or the paper or the scan was delivered into the folder. So it's live. No code, because the customers don't understand the codes. They want to see the value which the team deliver. And this is the great example how the customer can validate that the team delivered what they wanted. And I think that's all.
Dear Lily, this is what I do for a living.
Thank you so much.